Obviously, we see her shooting, we see her passing, we see all that stuff on the floor, but a lot of that comes from a lot of hard work. She's in the gym almost all the time working on her game.
Let's run that. I think her ability to lead this team as a rookie, she's really starting to step into that role, and I think that's exciting to see as well.
Person has got that cachet, that marketability, that could have been selfish, was selfless, and thought not just about herself, but everybody.
Will Caitlin Clark have the best basketball coach in history? Sources claim that the unexpected increase of Indiana fever could soon worsen significantly. What would Clark think if Larry Bird joined Christie's team? This could have a negative impact on the WNBA overall, as well as the Fever's chances of winning a title. Before we go any further, would you kindly subscribe if you're enjoying this video? We truly appreciate your support, as over 98% of people watch without doing so. I'm appreciative. Recalling the tale, it's absurd to consider how little was understood about the disease only a short time ago. In addition to experiencing issues, they were at the bottom of the league.
About greats in this game. You know, the Michael Jordans and the Kobe Bryants and the Steph Currys, they are putting her in that category, the Diana Taurasi's.
Clark now has an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike that will include her own signature shoe. The deal is the richest sponsorship contract for a woman.
The Fever did not even make it to the postseason for 7 hard seasons. The arena itself felt lifeless, and the stands were frequently just partially occupied. While the Fever appeared to be mired in never-ending reconstruction, other teams saw Indiana as an easy victory. Everything changed the circumstances without offering a clear way forward. Caitlin Clark showed up. After using their first pick to get the greatest player in college basketball, the Fever made headlines overnight. All of a sudden, people who had never considered the Fever were paying attention. However, pressure follows excitement. Clark wasn't your average prospect. He was a standout player at Iowa, known for his effortless triple-doubles and flawless half-court shots. Could she maintain that level of dominance in the WNBA? There were huge expectations. Indiana was searching for a player who could fundamentally alter their destiny, not merely a solid rookie. It was said that Clark had the ability to save the franchise and was a generational talent. What's amazing is that instead of merely meeting expectations, she has beyond them. Clark has demonstrated via his performance that he understands the game even as a rookie. When it counts most, she consistently leads her team in rebounds, assists, and points like a seasoned pro. Her influence extends much beyond the box score. By making every game feel like an event, Clark has brought the Fever back. Fans who had previously disregarded the Fever are now paying attention because of her fearless demeanor, tremendous energy, and capacity to bring her teams together. Suddenly, people who had never seen the WNBA are watching the games with Clark. It's not just about winning. It's about making basketball and, once again, Indiana must-watch entertainment.
I, had teammates that were there with me for 4 years and were really comfortable playing with me. And then you come here and you have to learn your teammates in 2 weeks before you step on the court, and that can be really hard.
Let's run that. I think her ability to lead this team as a rookie, she's really starting to step into that role, and I think that's exciting.
Additionally, Clark's influence extends beyond basketball and is transforming the business world. Sales of season tickets have increased by over 400%. Even though they don't fully understand why Caitlin Clark has become such a phenomenon, sponsors are stepping up to be associated with her name and ready to embrace the Caitlin Clark effect. The story is told in the stadiums. Now, all of the empty seats are occupied. And normal fans aren't the only ones who fill them. Influencers, celebrities, and other people who were previously uninterested in women's basketball are now embracing the new fervor on the court. Clark is quite intense. After she snatches the ball, every possession feels alive, but her impact doesn't end after the game is over. She now has a voice on the team and may influence coaching and direction decisions. That returns us to the primary question. What would happen if Larry Bird entered an already tense situation? Imagine the fervor inspired by one of the most influential people in basketball history. On paper, it looks like the perfect matchup with the most promising new star in the WNBA. Bird has unparalleled credentials. As a player, he won 3 NBA titles and 3 MVP honors, making him one of the most significant figures in sports history. His career established a benchmark that few could match, and he made an equally significant contribution as an Indiana Pacers coach. In addition to helping the team win games, Bird's vision and leadership enabled Indiana basketball to continue being respected and competitive in the Eastern Conference. He has a track record of putting together lineups, making difficult decisions, and cultivating long-term success. The franchise might have a lot of potential if he applied the same knowledge to the Fever.
Her shooting, we see her passing, we see all that stuff on the floor, but a lot of that comes from a lot of hard work. She's in the gym almost all the time working on her game.
Like I said, she's a special player. She commands so much defensive attention. And I think that's one of the things that separates her.
The Indiana basketball run and Larry Bird's are intimately associated. His impact has always been felt, from his time as an Indiana State college student to his time spent molding the Pacers. One issue is that he has never worked in women's basketball. Raises significant issues. NBA coaching is not the same as WNBA coaching. The dynamics and manner of play are different, and experience has proven that men's coaches don't always properly adapt. In addition, Bamba supporters are devoted to and defensive of the league's culture. As a result, there would be both excitement and cynicism in response to such an action. The potential impact on Caitlin Clark, a mentorship from Larry Bird, might be life-changing, makes it particularly thrilling. As Clark develops not only as a player but also as the team's face and one of the top stars in the league, his expertise, experience, and viewpoint would be priceless. It goes beyond simply improving one's on-court abilities. It also entails understanding how to manage being the focus of a team and a public figure who is in charge of a league's destiny. With Bird's help, she might acquire an advantage that increases her power.
The month has only been around since 2010, but she's the first player ever to win Rookie of the Month and Player of the Month.
Person has got that cachet, that marketability, that could have been selfish, was selfless, and thought not just about herself, but everybody.
The primary question is whether Bird and Clark's strong personalities would work well together or if they would disagree on vision and leadership. Bird's participation could change how the general public views women's basketball off the court. The news just mentions his name. Furthermore, the attention would only increase because the Fever is already developing into more than just a team and a cultural icon. The stakes are really high. Caitlin Clark is at the core of it all, having both raised the team's potential and rekindled the fervor. WNBA since her arrival, the franchise has seen a total transformation, with sold-out stadiums, a 400% increase in ticket sales, and a flurry of commercial agreements. The idea of adding Larry Bird elevates the standard even further. His legendary status might increase Clark's impact and propel women's basketball to new heights. However, the dynamic may also put the team's leadership balance in jeopardy. This leads us to the wider picture. Is this the beginning of a new trend? It's a feasible approach that might permanently alter the sport, NBA legends joining the WNBA to influence its destiny. It's crucial to keep in mind the location of the Fever in order to appreciate how far things have come. The squad failed to make the playoffs for 7 consecutive seasons. There weren't many fans, the arena seemed empty, and opponents thought Indiana would win easily. The team's never-ending rebuilding phase appeared to have no obvious way out. Next was Caitlin Clark. Everything suddenly changed once the Fever chose her with their first-round pick. Because of his reputation for dominating college basketball, making triple-doubles, and making easy half-court shots, Clark was under a lot of pressure coming into the game. The biggest concern was whether she could perform on par in the WNBA. After graduating from college, it was unknown if Caitlin Clark would succeed in the WNBA. Particularly for a club in dire need of a turnaround, expectations were extremely high. The amazing thing is that by dominating games with the poise of a seasoned veteran, Clark has not only met but exceeded their expectations. She has made plays, scored baskets, and grabbed rebounds when her team needed them most, even as a rookie. However, there are other ways to gauge her influence besides statistics. The Fever has become a basketball game that everyone needs to watch because of Clark. Both seasoned WNBA fans and those who had never seen women's basketball before have been enthralled by her exceptional abilities, unwavering passion, and innate ability to bring teammates together. The impact extends far beyond the court. Season ticket sales have increased by 100%, and the franchise's profits are soaring. Sponsors are flooding the market with cash in an effort to join the Clark boom. Rena's once half-empty eyes are now full with life, even though they don't fully understand it. The seats are now occupied by more than just fans. Celebrities, influencers, and young athletes are among the participants. Others are motivated to join the action by Clark's infectious passion on the floor. She is now more than just a standout player. She can influence coaching and direction decisions, and her impact on the club is growing. This brings us full circle to the main query. What would happen if Larry Bird entered this situation? Imagine Caitlin Clark, who has already established herself as the WNBA's face, collaborating with Larry Bird, one of the greatest names in basketball history. Even if this decision seems to be the ideal combination of experience and developing talent, it is difficult to evaluate its effects. As a player, Larry Bird's record speaks for itself. He established the standard for domination in the sport and won 3 NBA titles and 3 MVP honors. He then demonstrated his ability to lead both on and off the court as head coach of the Indiana Pacers by turning them into a formidable contender in the Eastern Conference rather than just winning games.